Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel. So sorry for the delay, but I am back to talk about 2 episodes of The Flash, and that is episode 220 titled Rupture, which premiered Tuesday, May 3rd, 2016 on the CW, and episode 221 titled The Runaway Dinosaur, which premiered Tuesday, May 10th, 2016 on the CW. So, guys, double the time, so 20-minute clock, and let's begin very quickly. So something new that we learned in episode 220 is the fact that the metahuman of the day is Rupture, which is the Earth 2 doppelganger of Dante Ramon, aka Cisco's brother, the piano player. And from the looks of it, Rupture believes that Vibe killed his brother Reverb, so now he's out to get Cisco, who happens to be checking in on Dante because he thought the Vibe vision he had was of his brother Dante, not of his brother's doppelganger. So there's that. Basically, throughout the episode, we also see, I'll get back to Rupture, but we also see a hologram version of the Flash as a solution. They tried to work, since Barry still doesn't have his speed, so at least with a hologram, they give the city the illusion that the Flash is still there. It's pretty clever how they've crafted that, but doesn't really last long thanks to Zoom. Also, we see in this episode that Barry's speed needs to return, so we see Henry Allen returning. He even name drops Garrick being his mother's maiden name, so Barry's paternal grandmother's maiden name was Garrick, so there has to be something more. They can't just be name dropped, something like that. So hopefully we find more of a connection, or Barry looks into it somehow, hopefully, because Jay Garrick, Earth 2, connected to Zoom. There has to be a reason why Garrick was implanted the way it was in that conversation. So anyways, also we see Barry agreeing to Dr. Wells' plan to recreate the particle accelerated explosion only as a last resort, because he doesn't want to put more people in danger. Turns out he goes through with it, but it gets himself incinerated, destroyed. He basically deteriorates before everybody's eyes, kind of like how Trajectory did when she ran too fast. And during the whole explosion, Jesse and Wally get hit with the dark matter wave and are knocked unconscious. So there's that. We also saw Zoom returning back to Earth 1 with Caitlin, and he takes control of the city. We see Zoom killing any resisting police force. We see Zoom outing the hologram Flash to the city, saying that the Flash is no longer with them. And we also see Zoom killing Rupture, which pushes Cisco to try something new with his own brother, to make sure that they don't have a strained relationship anymore. And Dante actually learns in this episode that Cisco is a metahuman and that he gets these vibe visions in a sense. So there's that. Also, on a side note, Iris actually tells Barry about her feelings for him, and how for her it doesn't matter if he has his speed or not, her feelings are for Barry. So there is that hope in that it would help him make a decision on whether he wants his speed back or not. Now on to episode 221. We see 3 problems happening in this episode. First one was getting Barry out of the Speed Force, which is where he ended up being transported after he got incinerated from the explosion. Second problem was zombie Tony. During that explosion, Tony's dead metahuman body that was in the morgue of Star Labs got reanimated from the explosion, so now he's on the run and they have to deal with that. Another issue they had was the fact that while Wally woke up without a problem after being hit by the dark matter, Jessie was not the same, so she needs quick medical attention, and she seems to be in quite a curious state. So first problem, Barry in the Speed Force. So Cisco actually confirms Barry's alive through his vibe visions. So the team knows that, but Barry can't leave until he is accepting of the fact that Nora's death happened the way it did, and he's just supposed to free up all this guilt within him since he watched her die back in the season 1 finale. And so eventually Barry catches this racing figure that he was meant to catch in order to leave the Speed Force, and it turns out to be Barry as the Flash was what he was trying to chase after. So once he catches him, he becomes the Flash again, regaining his speed. Now moving on to Zombie Tony, who is now targeting Iris. So they use that to their advantage. They have Iris, her idea, lure Tony back to Star Labs, and Barry, they manage to get Barry back just in time to kill Tony by frying his dead brain, thanks to the increased electrical charge that Barry created around him thanks to his speed. So there is that. Moving on to the medical attention of Jesse, it seems that after some analysis from Henry, who is a doctor still, they've come to realize that Jesse is undergoing the same comatose state that Barry was in when he was first struck by lightning 2 years ago, which led him to be a speedster. However, when Barry returns to check on her after the whole Tony thing was happening, it was Barry's touch that woke Jesse up because of the Speed Force in him and what I can assume is within her now, which is why she woke up. There's that. Kind of makes you wonder if that same reaction could have happened if Eobard Thawne had just touched Barry's hand when he was comatose 2 years ago. Anyways, other news. We learned that Henry Allen is staying in town. We also see Barry and Iris visiting Nora's grave, only to later agree to try being a couple and see where it takes them. And then we also see a little brief ending scene of Zoom telling Caitlin to choose either to side with him or to side with her friends, where he will give her no mercy any different. And he has brought his own army of metahumans back from Earth over to Earth 1 to conquer the world. So there's that. So let's move on to the most shocking moment of the episode. For episode 220, it was definitely the fact that Barry was incinerate. His body evaporated. It got torn to bits. It got shredded. It was shocking for sure. I was surprised it went that far. Graphically, it was done fantastically, but it hit me in the feels. That was just too much, especially for Barry. I love Barry, so it was hard to see, and I definitely wasn't expecting it. Shocking moment for 221, though, was the fact that the Speed Force was represented as a living entity. The fact that Barry could talk to the Speed Force was baffling in itself for me. Though after some talk with a fellow fan, briefly, it seems that all the different bodies that Barry encountered could have just been manifestations of the Speed Force, since it did compare itself to gravity, or Barry compared itself to gravity, and they confirmed it. So maybe it's just a manifestation that has a greater understanding or something. I'm still confused by it, but it was definitely shocking that Barry was actually able to talk to the Speed Force and have it actually give all these profound analysis and analytical responses and get really emotional and stuff like that. So it's definitely surprising in that sense. Moving on to top 3 favorite moments. First one for 220 was Barry and Iris. It was great to see conversation they had before they went with recreating the particle accelerator explosion. It was great to see. It was great for her not to only tell him about her feelings towards him, but why she felt that way, or how she felt about him as a person without the romantic feelings, how she cares for Barry whether he has speed or not. It doesn't change who he is, and saying he's a hero with or without it. So it was great to see that type of comfort between the two of them. Second favorite moment is definitely the hologram Flash idea. That was pretty cool how they did it, how they were able to maneuver. I really like the fact that we got to see in action, just see how much work they had to put into pulling that charade up. It definitely makes it seem like Barry's in the field and he's actually doing the work. It's just he's not fast enough to get there and be physically there. So it was really great to see the mechanics behind their hologram idea. Another favorite moment is Cisco himself, especially when he's with Dante. All the emotionally charged scenes between his estranged brother were fantastic, and then to see them reconcile at the end because he had witnessed Rupture's death, which is basically the guy with his brother's face, so that hit him hard. And all the Harry Potter references as well were just fantastic, especially the little quip that Dr. Wells made about him going to a Harry Potter convention, and then Cisco was like, well, how'd you know about that? I thought that was pretty funny. So there's that. Cisco's always going to be one of my favorites. His timing is just fantastic whatever he does. Now, favorite moments for 221. First one has to be Barry being within the Speed Force and how he interacts with all the different versions of the Speed Force, especially when he's with the version of Nora. I really liked that. It really got very emotional. It was interesting to see what he remembered of her, or what he remembered in regards to interacting with her. It was especially that reading of the book, The Runaway Dinosaur. That was some powerful stuff. Just to see that emotion behind the two of them, especially in Barry, and how he reacted to all that. That was just fantastic. Another favorite moment has to be Cisco and Dr. Wells, especially the moment when Cisco is quickly trying to sum up and explain to Barry all that's happened with zombie Tony returning and just what situation they're in. And then Dr. Wells is just standing beside Cisco and he's just nodding and just like mouth gapping a few times, like, I don't know what to add to this type thing, but he's just nodding along with Cisco saying, yep, that's pretty much it. It was pretty funny. It's like he was speechless, or he couldn't keep up fast enough with Cisco's fast summary, so it was pretty funny. Another favorite moment was Barry getting his speed back and using it the way he did against Tony. It was great to see him go all out in a sense and not hold back, and how he had a plan and he was ready to execute that plan. It was just fantastic to see again when it's been a few episodes without his speed. So it's great to see that it was kind of like riding a bike for him in regards to getting back into the swing of things. Another favorite moment, definitely more than three, but is Barry and Iris not only agreeing to try things out as a couple, but just a lot of the lines that they said to each other was definitely gush worthy too. It made your heart melt, and it's like, oh, it's like, that's so sweet. Or it's like, yes, they finally said it, or they finally said it in a context that it's not going to scare the other person away. So it was great to see the dynamic between the two of them in that sense, since we haven't really seen it aside from the Earth 2 married version of them. Last favorite moment, it was a hilarious one, but it was when Joe was trying to determine whether Wally was a metahuman or not, and it was mistaken as a little delayed puberty talk. That was just funny, and then his default was to drop a mug to see if Wally would speed over to catch it. So that was funny. Moving on to top 3 peeved moments. I don't remember for 220, but for 221, I don't understand why Wally was told that Bear was gone and then he's dismissed from the whole thing as if he was a kid that needed to be sent in his room and be isolated from all the trauma that was happening. I mean, you don't just drop a bomb like Barry is gone and then just not explain or not elaborate on that further. I mean, why even tell him to begin with? Iris could have just told Wally that something happened and that they needed to get him out. You don't even have to bring up the fact that Barry was gone. You don't even have to bring up the fact that Barry was injured. So it's like the whole Iris saying Barry was gone to Wally, it just made no sense why she needed to say that. So that just really bugged me. But moving on to what moment I remember most when I look back on these 2 episodes, 220 is definitely Barry getting incinerated the way he did. And then 221 is Barry getting his speed back and returning to the land of the living, which was awesome to begin with. So moving on to random questions very quickly, but I had this for 220, and it was, if Zoom is still bringing metahumans over from Earth 2 to Earth 1, then what stopped him from doing that when the breaches were officially closed? And we had that lull in crime, and it was all peace for a few episodes until they've discovered that Cisco could open the breaches. And then it's once that moment happened, then Zoom started going between worlds again. So it was like, if he was able to jump between worlds now without getting Cisco to open a breach, then why couldn't he do it beforehand? If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But next question. If Jesse and Wally stayed in the time vault, would they have still been affected by the dark matter that was spread through the second particle accelerated explosion? I have no clue. I guess we'll never find out. But it makes you kind of wonder, if they had just stayed in the vault like if they were supposed to, then they could have been safe or not. But who knows? I have a few questions after watching 221. The first one is that now that Barry and Iris seem to be giving a relationship a go, is there a possibility that Speedster Jessie, if that happens to be the route she's going down, could be an obstacle between this couple? Because I can easily see Jessie being a speedster and then her getting close to Barry over the commonality between them, that is their speed, which could make Iris jealous in the fact that she doesn't have that shared interest between Barry and herself. So I'm wondering if that's a possibility in a sense. And last question. Where are all those metahumans that Zoom welcomed? Are they from Earth 2, and how did he bring them all over? They are from Earth 2. It's a question that's actually answered in the predictions part. So let's move on to that. Based off the promo for 222, it seems that Chaos is in Central City as the metahumans attack. And it looks like Katie Cassidy appears as part of Zoom's army as Black Siren. Now, based off the synopsis, though, it seems that Barry is shocked when he learns that Black Siren, aka the doppelganger of Black Canary, played by Katie Cassidy, is the leader of Zoom's Earth 2 army. Also looks like Wally is going to try to find a way to help the Flash while in the streets, which worries Joe. So we're going to see just to what extent that's going to go. But it's great to see Katie Cassidy playing the doppelganger version. It'll be interesting to see how the Black Siren differs from Black Canary. But overall predictions, I see Barry being a mentor to Jessie if she does turn out to be a new speedster. If that's the case, then I definitely see Jessie getting in between Barry and Iris as a couple, without meaning to, of course, so just because she'd probably be bonding with Barry and getting closer to him over the fact that they have this gift of super speed, which Barry can't share with Iris, but he can with Jessie. So I could definitely see that happening. Another one is that maybe Caitlin becomes Killer Frost. We don't know how far that dark matter reached the city the second time around, so it's possible that she could be affected and then that triggers her to become Killer Frost. But the reason why I'm saying she could be Killer Frost is because of the increased anger we see her have against Zoom every time he calls her Kate. She hates it. She always tells him don't call her that. It's very similar to how Killer Frost reacted to people calling her Caitlin. So I'm just wondering if this like the first stepping stone for her going in that direction. But there's that. Also, last one is that if Wally were to have the Speed Force, then I predict that he'd probably tap into that power in a moment where it was a do or die situation for someone he cared for. I definitely think it has to be one of those adrenaline moments for it to kick in for him. And then he probably might not even realize it at first until like moments after doing something he's not supposed to be able to do. So there is that. So that's about it. So what do you guys think of the 2 episodes? What do you like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, as well as your own thoughts, theories, predictions, but what you think is going to happen in the last 2 episodes of season 2. Also, if Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want, check out my Tumblr page. The links for that will be down below. I usually read blog promos, sneak peeks, web clips, quotes, gifs, all of that. I'm a little behind on keeping that updated, but I plan to get right onto it very soon. But check it out. I got 2 links for these 2 specific episodes, and then another link that will lead you to the master list of all the Flash related tags, as well as Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, since it's in the same universe. And there is the timer. Alright, and that's about it. So thank you guys for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. So sorry for the delay, but this way you get 2 episodes in one video. Also comment below if you actually prefer 2 episodes in one video, or if you prefer the 1 video per episode type thing. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that. But yeah, so I hope you tune in next week to hear what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel, wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.